everyone, it's Max and welcome to a new week's reading vlog. So this week is going to be shorter, and that is because I am just doing this through the end of September, which is Wednesday. Today is Monday. And the only plan I have for this week is to read, watch, and review The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I am participating in the Tolkien Along, which is hosted by Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction and a bunch of other people. I will leave them linked down below. But this week, I've got it separated into 3 sticky note sections, one a day, and they correspond with a different movie. So, Monday, I'm going to read 105 pages. Tuesday, I'm going to read 125 pages, and Wednesday, I will be reading 50 pages. Each of those page amounts equates to a movie. So tonight, I'm going to be watching The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and then Tuesday will be A Desolation of Smaug, and Wednesday will be The Battle of the Five Armies. I've only seen the first movie, and honestly, I cannot remember much of anything about it. I have started the book. I'm 26 pages in, so not very far. I'm on chapter 2, and so I have to read 6 chapters today, 7 chapters tomorrow, and 6 chapters on Wednesday. I am really excited. I have listened to The Hobbit before, but the audiobook just did not really work for me. I can't remember anything of what happened in the book, so I am really excited. This also goes towards Becca's Bookathon role and prompt to read an adult novel. I DNF'd the book that I had in my TBR for that, and this is going to be for the adult novel. I'm really excited to continue this, and I hope you all enjoy my reading, watching, and reviewing vlog. I am planning on each section reading it and then watching the movie and then reviewing them side by side for you in this vlog, so I hope you enjoy, and I will talk to you all later. Alright guys, so my lunch break is just about to end, but I finished my part of The Hobbit for the day. So I'm 105 pages into this, and I'm about to start the movie, which I'm going to watch throughout the day, through the evening, and into the night, and then I will review it for you tonight. But I am really enjoying this. It's a lot more fast-paced than I thought it was, and it's got that kind of nonsensical feel that like Alice in Wonderland has, and the Train to Impossible Places, which if you saw my vlog 2 weeks ago, I talked about that a bit, where it's just kind of like, and I'm realizing this is a trope that I really like, where it's just, you just kind of go with the flow, stuff happens to you and you're just like, oh, okay. You know, Bilbo, these 13 dwarves come into his house and just take him on this adventure, and Bilbo's like, sure, okay, sounds good, you know. And I really like that trope because I think it's really fun, and I feel like that's how I'd be if like people are like, let's go on an adventure. I'd just be like, yeah, let's go. I don't need any information but that. So yeah, I am really enjoying it. More than the first time. I'm finding it easier to kind of follow along than the audiobook, and that might have been because I listened to the audiobook at like 3 times speed, and so it might have just been a little too fast for me, but I am really enjoying this. Guys, I'm so excited. I got approved for Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I already bought it because I didn't think I was going to get approved, but that's okay. I'll own it, which is always great because I love Carrie Maniscalco's books. I loved the Stalking the Jack the Ripper series, so I am so excited about this. Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped. I don't really know much of what this is about, actually. I think it's about a girl whose sister dies and she makes a deal with the devil or a demon to get revenge. I'm so excited. I have to fit this into my October TBR. I'm so friggin' pumped. Hi guys, so it is 10 and I have finished An Unexpected Journey, and I actually ended up really enjoying it. It worked out perfectly for the amount of pages that I read in The Hobbit today, so that worked out just super well. And I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't know, a couple things were a little much. The flashback fight scenes were done in slow motion, and that was just a little ridiculous. The overacting, the slow, it was just too much. And it's like, okay. And it happened like 2 or 3 times, and it was just so obvious. And you're just kind of like, okay, like, do you have to be this dramatic? No. So that did kind of annoy me. I did really like how the book, you're only following Bilbo. You know, he's the only point of view. But in the movie, whenever Bilbo is separated from the others, you get what happens to them. And I think that really raises the stakes, and I think that keeps the action up. Because for a big part of it, or not a big part, but a part of it, he is doing this riddle war with Smeagol. and you don't have any idea what's happening to the other guys. You kind of just assume that they're just hanging out. But then in the movie, they're like fighting and they're kidnapped and they're trying to like live. And so I did really enjoy that. I also liked the inclusion of some characters that either I missed in the book or I didn't realize who they were in the movie. You know, like the female elf, I can't remember her name, the blonde-haired elf. Maybe I just didn't know her name, so when it was mentioned in the book, I just didn't even like register. But if it's true that she wasn't in the book and they put her in the movie, I did like that addition. Yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised. It did not need to be as long as it was. I think they added quite a few fight scenes, which I get, but I don't think it needed to be 3 hours. It definitely could have been shorter if they had stuck a little bit more to the plot line and took out some of these fight scenes that were just not super necessary in my mind. I get it, I do, especially because Peter Jackson wanted to make another epic fantasy trilogy in this universe. He just wanted to make it 3 hours long with a bunch of fight scenes, but it just didn't need to happen, especially because most of the fight scenes had slow-mo parts, and it felt a little ridiculous. Felt like I was watching some B-rated action flick a couple times with the overacting and the slow fighting and the dramatic songs that happen when Bilbo Baggins is just staring as this guy's about to die and he's just like, and it's raining and it's just a little bit much, if that makes sense. But overall, I did really like it, and I'm excited to continue on with reading and then watching. I am uploading a video right now, so if you're hearing the fan going of my computer, that's why. But I think I'm gonna try and read some more of The Hobbit tonight so that I can get started on The Desolation of Smaug ASAP. I worked late today. I worked 40 minutes of overtime, so that helped me finish the movie because I was watching it after lunch. So that worked out. But yeah, so that's all I've got for you right now. I do want to show you my bookmark because I love it. It is One Ring to Rule Them All. I got this in a book box. I can't remember if it was a Fairy Loot or an Owl Crate, and I can't remember like what month, but I knew that this was Lord of the Rings. You just kind of know that, but I hadn't watched the movies. I hadn't read any of the books, so I am now enjoying it a lot more, and I'm going to be using it for each book. But that's all I've got for you right now. I enjoyed the first movie. I enjoyed the pages that I read for the day. And now I'm going to pick up the part with the dragon. And I'll talk to you all later or in the morning. Okay, I just started reading and I'm in my PJs. But one thing that I forgot to mention was that I thought it was kind of weird how they were adding characters into the movie that weren't in the book. Besides the person that I was already talking about. But I mean like Gandalf's cousin. I was like, what is the point of him? But then he is mentioned in the book. But even like in the movie, he brings up this person who can like bring people back from the dead. And it was like, why? When he's not even a character in the book. He's mentioned, but not much. So I think that's all weird. I think it is so weird that Gandalf just leaves. He does it in The Lord of the Rings as well, but he's just like, okay, bye, have fun, you go do you, I'm gonna go do my own thing. And it's like, you are leaving these 14 helpless people to themselves. And I just think it's very weird. Like, how does he not think that everything's gonna go wrong? Whack. Okay, I just got to the barrel scene, and like I knew that was in this movie, but like people talked about how like weird it is and how that would never happen. And I'm like, okay, one, it's a fantasy movie. Two, I thought that it was like a critique because it wasn't in the book, but it is. They literally rode in barrels to escape prison. So like, I don't know why people are so like upset about it. I thought it was fine. Like, yeah, obviously that's weird and would never happen in real life, but nor would like half the stuff that happens in this book or 3/4 of the stuff that happens in this book. So I'm fine with it. I also forgot to mention I friggin' hate spiders. So that whole scene sucked. And all I could think about were the Lord of the Rings movies and the one where Frodo and Sam are fighting the friggin' spider. Ugh. I have arachnophobia, so one of the only things I'm scared of, and that just, ugh. Okay, they're in the town. I don't have much left of these pages, so I don't know when they're gonna fight Smaug. Like, I just can't remember. I'm trying to remember when I read this the first time, and I can't remember. And so I just don't think it's gonna happen within the pages that I have left in this section. But I don't know, maybe Smaug isn't defeated in the second movie, even though it's called The Desolation of Smaug. I don't know. We'll see. I just think that's gonna wrap up a little too fast. All right, I finished the pages. It's, what time is it? It's 11:35. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. But I finished the 125 pages I had to read for tomorrow. So I have read 225 pages. So I only have 50 pages left. And that is a whole movie in of itself. And I don't understand why. I think this could have been a duology. The first part stays one movie because I think that they did a great job at making it one movie. A lot happens. But I think the second and third parts could have been one movie. Where Smaug, maybe like when he burns down the city, that's like the worst possible moment. Because that's Thorin's city. You know, so like that I would have got. And then the last 50 pages are kind of the climax and resolution. Instead, they're two separate movies. I don't even know. I don't know if Smaug is defeated in the second movie. We'll see. If I didn't actually reach where the movie ends, well, too bad. Bummer, but it doesn't really matter. So we'll see. Because 50 pages as one movie is kind of crazy. And rarely works well. So we'll see. But I'm really pumped. I'm ahead of the game now. I only have 50 pages left. And I am overall really enjoying it. I think it's when I'm comparing it to the movies that I'm a little bit like, But as a book on its own, I am really liking it. And I'm excited to see what happens. Because honestly, I can't remember whatsoever. And I'll talk to you all in the morning. Screw that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's my preppy boy Legolas. He's here. I knew he was in the movie, even though he's not in the books. I knew he was there somewhere. Oh yeah. There they are.
My wife. What is this horrid creature? Goblin mutant. That's my wee lad, Gimli.
Oh my god, that is the best thing I have ever heard. Gimli, oh my gosh, Legolas is like best friend in The Lord of the Rings. Hello. I love that. I'm so happy. That makes me so happy. I have half of the movie left. It's so long. And at this point in the book, there were like 30 pages left in this section. So we'll see. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think a lot of this is just unnecessary. Like right now I'm in the middle of a scene between this like Duke, noble mayor guy and like his little lackey. And I'm like, why are we getting this? I don't care about them at all. And then Luke Evans is in here. I can't remember if his character's in the book, probably as like the smuggler. So that's cool. I was like, oh, Luke Evans, hello. But yeah, so we have an hour and a half left and I don't know what's gonna take up all that time. Hi guys, it's 5:30. I'm now off work and I thought I'd update you that I finished The Desolation of Smaug and it was all right. I am really excited to watch the third one. It ended on quite the cliffhanger, but overall I think it was a pretty average movie. It so did not need to be as long as it was. I feel like they just drew some stuff out just so long that just was so unnecessary. And I kind of knew that was gonna happen. But I did enjoy the fight between the Hobbit, the dwarves, and Smaug, because in the book it's just Bilbo against Smaug, but in this it was like all of them against him. One thing that I am getting a little confused about is Gandalf's storyline, because in the book, you know, Gandalf just like jets off and he's gone and then he comes back. And so it's nice to see what he's doing, but he's interacting with characters that we know from the Lord of the Rings. And I'm just wondering if they're going to become apparent in the last 50 pages I have of the book, or if they're just trying to connect it to the Lord of the Rings. And if it's just to connect it to the Lord of the Rings, that is kind of annoying because it's just so unnecessary. And like they're talking about like Sauron and the necromancer, who might be the same person, I don't know. And then I'm like, is the necromancer in the Lord of the Rings? I can't even remember. And if it isn't in the Hobbit either. So I don't know why this character is in these movies. I just don't really get it. But hopefully, maybe in the next 50 pages, it'll all be revealed that that was like the end goal anyways. And so the movies were just showing Gandalf's point of view. But I just don't know, because none of it has been alluded to. None of it is like something that they think is an issue. And so the fact that Gandalf is spending so much time with this is just kind of confusing. But we'll see. And who knows, maybe it's just a total change from the book because they want to. But I don't know, I'm not a fan of Orlando Bloom nor Evangeline Lilly in this. Not like the actors, it's more the characters that I'm just kind of like, I don't think they're necessary, because the character got poisoned, the dwarf got poisoned. He didn't in the book. And so Evangeline Lilly is like traversing to try and find this guy that she knew for 5 friggin' minutes to save him because it's love. And it's just kind of, ugh. It's very annoying. And Legolas is so snooty and just like, I don't know. I miss Legolas from Lord of the Rings because I don't like him in this. But so I just don't really understand why they're necessary. I understand like having Orlando Bloom in there. Like I understand having Legolas in the movie because he's that guy's son, but I don't understand why he's in it a lot. You know, I'd understand like a couple scenes of him just being like, yo, what's up? I'm here. But I don't understand him being in this movie so much. I just don't get it. And Evangeline Lilly's character annoys me. You know, she's like in love now with this dwarf. And it's just like, why? Like, yeah, I guess out of all the dwarves, he's the most attractive. But like, I don't understand because they've had one conversation. One. And it was about his mom. So like, I don't know. I don't understand the draw. And he was like dirty and in prison the whole time. So like, why does she find him attractive? I don't know. But we'll see, and that's just in the movies, and she's not even a character in the book. So, rest of my plans for today are to finish The Hobbit. I would have at lunch, but I went and worked out instead. And then tomorrow I will watch the Battle of the Five Armies, which I don't even understand why it's called that. So, we'll see. I don't know. This movie is just going to be so drawn out. Like because when you look back at the movie on a whole, the storyline matches the book. But they just draw it out so much. Like 3 hours for 50 pages? It's just gonna be a little ridiculous, I think. Because at least the Lord of the Rings movies, they could be like, well, yeah, but The Return of the King's like 1,300 pages. I get it. But just drawing out this one book for three hour-long movies is just ridiculous, I think. So, all right, I'll chat with you all once I finish The Hobbit. Hi guys, it is 9:30 and I just finished The Hobbit. Couple things. I get why Bard was in Desolation of Smaug, because even though he doesn't come into the third part, I think getting to know him and getting to root for him made a lot more sense. And I like that more. I just feel like it wrapped up so easy. And I know this is more of like a young adult-ish novel, kind of. I know it's for younger audiences than Lord of the Rings. But the battle scenes were like 2 pages. So like now I'm like I understand the movies more. I still think it definitely could have been 2. Overall, I do end up understanding like the pacing of the 3 movies because the action scenes are just so short and almost non-existent, and it's just all exposition. It's like, and then they had a battle called the Battle of the 5 Armies because it was 2 species against 3 species, and then they fought, and then they did this, and that was it. Like, that was it. And I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99.9% sure that's gonna be the climax of the whole 3rd film. And Smaug is barely in this, which I know the book doesn't promote him being like a big character, but like, he's referenced a lot, and he's a big character in the movies. So I don't know, because everything just happened a little too fast. I wanted more tension. I wanted it to be drawn out more before we got the resolution. But overall, I did really enjoy it. I'm gonna give it a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I liked it a lot more reading it than the audiobook. So I think I'm gonna continue on that way with The Lord of the Rings. But I'm gonna watch the Battle of the 5 Armies tomorrow, and I will talk to you more with my thoughts on the last movie. Hi guys, it is my lunch break and I just filmed my October TBR, which is going up tomorrow. But I am about an hour into the Battle of the 5 Armies, and I am liking this one actually a lot more than the second one. I can see why it's taking so long, but then I think it's gonna quickly go downhill of being like, why do I have 2 more hours left of this? Or an hour and 45 minutes actually. It is shorter than the other 2, but it's still a little bit like, okay, I think it definitely could have been shorter because something happened where now I feel like that could have spurred on like this big fight, but we'll see. I am enjoying it. I don't like, and this was true with the book as well, I just had hoped that the movies would have done differently. I don't like the character development of Bilbo nor of Thorin, the king of the dwarves, because I think that both of them are kind of degrading, where they had this great character development in the beginning, especially after in the first movie, and then the second movie both of them stayed pretty stagnant, but then in this one they're going like super downhill, and I don't like that at all. And this is more of an issue with the book than the movies, because the movies are just following the book. That's what they do. But yeah, so I'm not really liking that. But I am excited to see how these 3 species, the humans, the dwarves, and the elves, kind of come together to fight the orcs. And then what I'm realizing is, I don't think the orcs were even in the book. Like, he didn't even talk about orcs. It's all about goblins. And so I'm just like, why? Is orcs just because they're in The Lord of the Rings? And are they even in The Lord of the Rings books? We'll see. I'll find out next month. But I'm just like, why orcs? Why not just stick with goblins? Goblins are scary enough. But yeah, and I think the Sauron thing, like, I get that it's just like alluding to what's gonna happen in Lord of the Rings, and they're really making this like a true prequel instead of just like a book set in the same world. Like, I kind of think the books are like, this isn't just 3 movies set in the same world. This is like a prequel trilogy to the Lord of the Rings. So when I see it in that light, I understand that this is kind of like, here's how Sauron came to Middle Earth, and here's how he brought the 9 humans back and all that stuff. So with that lens, I get it, but with the lens of comparing it to the book, I'm like, why are you adding this whole component? This is just making it so much longer than it needs to be. But I will talk to you once I get more into the last movie / when I finish it. And then I'm going to my mom's house tonight, which I'm really excited about. I haven't been there in quite a few weeks. My dad recently had surgery, that's why. But he has some friends in town, so I'm gonna go stay with my mom. But yeah, so I will talk to you all probably when I'm at my mom's house a lot later. Unless I've got updates on the movie. Hi guys, so I finished the Battle of the 5 Armies, and honestly, it made me tear up. I did not cry, but I got close. It was good, actually. It's definitely my favorite of the 3, which I wasn't expecting. Not per what following the book, but movie-wise, it was my favorite. I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. I really liked how like there were the dwarves fighting the elves and humans, and then all of a sudden they just kind of morphed together to fight the orcs, and I thought it was actually pretty seamless and it flowed really well. And I'm realizing that, you know, J.R. Tolkien did not write battle scenes. He was just like, they fought and then they won and then that was it. But the movies, you know, they showed the battle scenes and that's what took up so much time, but it kept, the intensity was high, the exhilaration was there, the anxiety was high. I was just having a really good time. And then the ending, it hurt. I was very sad. But overall, yeah, really liked it. There are a couple, like the dialogue, I feel like a lot of times can be just a little too on the nose. Like, yes, we get it, he's a bad guy. Like, you don't need this obvious over explanation of being why he's a bad guy. Like, we can see, we get it. And that happened a few times in different contexts where I was just like, no, we get it. You don't need to beat us over the head with this obvious dialogue. But other than that, and that was an issue that I had throughout all three movies that I really saw in the second and third ones. But overall, I did really like it. And I liked the trilogy. Desolation of Smaug, I think, was a bit less than the other two. So it goes Battle of the Five Armies, an Unexpected Journey, and then Desolation of Smaug. And Desolation of Smaug is like a lot lower than the other two. And I don't know why, I just didn't, the story itself didn't appeal to me very much. While the other two I ended up really enjoying. I think overall the plot line as a whole really stayed true to the book. The character development stayed true to the book, almost to its detriment, because I really didn't like the character development of Bilbo and Thorin. They had great character development in the first movie, and then they stayed stagnant in the second one, and then they went downhill in the third one, and that really disappointed me. But that was the book, so like the movies are just being truthful. I kind of wish they weren't, because that was a detriment of the book in my mind. That was one of the reasons why it wasn't a 5-star. But overall, I was really impressed with the movies. I can't wait to read The Lord of the Rings and rewatch those movies in the coming months. But I think that's all I've got for you guys. So overall, I gave the book a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I gave the first movie a 4 out of 5 stars, the second movie a 3 out of 5 stars, and the third movie probably a 4.5 out of 5 stars. But I hope you all enjoyed. Please keep an eye out for my Lord of the Rings vlogs and stay tuned for more videos soon. Bye!